Hi, welcome back. Today in this video we're going to look at gut and IBS problems. Now, over the last 10-20 years, gut health and IBS literally has exploded, excuse the pun, in problems within everyday Western people. So let's look at what's happened over recent years. Well, in recent years we have farmed to a mass proportions. We've started to change the food we eat. We've started to change literally biologically the food and the ingredients and the things that we cook with and the things that are in our food. There's never been more chemicals, antibiotics, preservatives, additives, colorings than ever before in the history of mankind. We are being bombarded with all sorts of things that our bodies just don't understand. Let's take wheat, for instance, our bread. Now, you will know or have suffered or suffer now with a gluten intolerance. There are many people who are celiac, and even people who have been fine with bread for most of their lives, it is typical now that people will suddenly go, oh, do you know what? I've got a bloating going on now. I can't eat bread like I used to. I can only eat small amounts of bread. Why has this happened? This has happened because they've changed how the wheat is grown. Years and years and years ago, we had what is typically now spelt wheat, or is known as spelt flour, and that is an ancient grain. And our grain was typically the same years ago. But what the farming industry did was they looked at the wheat that was being attacked by insects and predators, and they said, well, how can we make this bigger, stronger, and not susceptible to all these problems? Well, they changed the protein in the wheat. They took two different strains, they started to put them together, and they made a new strain, and that affected the protein within the wheat. And that protein is something that our guts really struggle to digest. And for many, many years, a lot of people during their youth and their younger years can deal with it, and they don't notice the effects. But as we get older, our guts go, do you know what? I'm tired. I can't keep this up. I am literally too tired to keep trying to process this protein, which I don't understand. It is really a common problem that affects people's weight. There's never been more obesity and people struggling to keep weight off and struggling with their weight gain, and this is also because the foods that we're eating typically on a daily basis, they have been modified, genetically modified, and our systems just do not know how to deal with them. So what they do is they try and take what they can out of that food in the gut, and then they push it into the fat stores, park it somewhere else, dump it, because they don't know what else to do with it. And it just, the gut itself does not want to carry on traveling through to stool it out at the other side. And our guts are under incredible stress. And in itself, stress is a huge problem for the gut. Now, we have learnt, or I have learnt over the years, with much research and some very clever doctors, that our gut has literally almost a brain within it. Our gut talks to our brain and our brain talks to our gut. Your gut is very, very intelligent. It has neurons in it. It has all sorts of things in it that are making it very, very clever. Your gut is the primary source of your immunity. All the strength in your body, the things that fight off disease, fight off germs, fight off viruses, all comes from your gut. And our guts are now under extraordinary strain and pressure to process all of this food and things and additives that we put in. Never before in the history of man have we drank as much alcohol, drunk as much coffee, eaten meat every day of the week, probably on most meals. Typically years ago, a family might have a joint of meat once a week. Now we have meat every day. We have bacon that's smoked. We have bacon that comes from pigs that are being injected with antibiotics and chemicals to make sure they don't get diseases themselves, so that the meat industry can carry on without problems. We are producing so much food for the Western world, so much meat, that literally they are having to do all sorts of things to make sure disease does not wipe out those animals. And to do that, they have to put additives and medicines, antibiotics into these poor creatures to make them resilient enough so that they make it to the table. Now, all these chemicals, all these antibiotics are then transferred through that meat into your system. So even if you don't take antibiotics from your doctor very often, which we know kills bacteria, well, our good bacteria, and puts another strain on the gut, we are digesting them on a daily basis through the meats that we eat. So the lesson there is, if you can afford to, literally cut down the amount of meat you eat and buy free-range organic meat. Do yourself a favour. Anyway, let's get back to it. The vegetables we eat. Let's look at the farming industry with the vegetables. The vegetables we eat today do not have the same mineral, vitamin, nutrient quantities that they did years ago. Our lands have been stripped. Our farmers are having to put nutrients into the soil to grow vegetables because our soils are so depleted with those vitamins and minerals. And it's okay, but it's not going to bring that vegetable up to the standards that it used to be, with all the natural things growing in the soil, all the microorganisms within that soil, all the different vitamins and minerals that are coming up through that soil. It's a second-rate way of getting that into our vegetables today. We used to be able to eat more vegetables and fruits with the fibre that we need to have a healthy gut. We had much more quantity of vegetables because we didn't eat the quantities of meat that we do. And meat can, because of the quantities of meat that we eat, our guts are so long with tiny twists and turns inside, little particles of meat get stuck in all little crevices and they start to rot. And we're not eating the amount of vegetables we need to clean that gut out. Vegetables and fruits and fibrous foods are the things that act like a Brillo pad going through your intestine, literally cleaning out the track as it goes down. And the highly processed foods that we eat and the massive protein that we eat, the chemicals, additives, create an environment which is not that good within our guts. And the lack of fibre means that we're not cleaning that out and keeping that healthy. The other thing that's changed is that years ago we used to be a lot more active. We used to physically work harder. Nowadays, a sedentary lifestyle means that we're sitting behind computers, we're sitting watching TV. Our jobs are different. We have robots and we have automated systems, which means we don't work as hard. Yes, there's if we're conscious about our fitness levels and we exercise regularly, this is going to help our guts a lot. But if we're not, our guts are going to struggle. One of the biggest things you can do for your gut is to exercise, because when you exercise, it not only works the muscles that you're actually using physically on your body to exercise, your gut is working, and your gut is a muscle, and that muscle needs to exercise. And as soon as you start to put pressure and exercise on your physical self, your gut goes, ooh, I need to start working harder, and you are conditioning your internal organs at the same time. We have a high rate of stimulant taking. Lots of people drink far too much coffee, tea, alcohol, smoking, all sorts of things which stimulate us nowadays have a direct effect on our guts. They make our systems very acidic, and that acidity going through the gut makes everything not a good environment for our gut bacteria to thrive and to do its job properly. Alcohol is something that if we drink regularly every week, this literally will go through your system and put immense pressure on everything. Not only your liver and your kidneys, but also your gut, because it all is a whole unit, a machine of how it is processing food and everything you put through it, and then delivering the nutrients to your body. In today's world, stress levels are very, very high because of our sedentary lifestyle. Our cortisol levels work in a different way. Before, years ago, when we were a lot more manual and a lot more physical, and we walked everywhere or ran, and we were much more physical when we worked, our cortisol levels were kept in check, because actually cortisol can be burnt off and released through movement of the body. Nowadays, with the jobs that we have and the lifestyle and money and COVID and more disease, and just everything. There is much more stressful environment that we live in today. And what happens when we're stressed is the adrenal glands release cortisol, and the cortisol is the hormone which is the fight or flight hormone. This is very, very toxic to the body as far as your gut goes. It shuts everything down. It makes your muscles primed and stressed, ready to move, to react, to protect. But it has a significant detrimental effect to how you're processing your food and the nutrient value, and how it takes the nutrient value out of your food going through your gut. Water is another thing. We are so used to nowadays drinking sodas, cordials, juices, and not just drinking clean water. And water is the thing that hydrates our body, but it is so, so important for your gut. Cleaning your gut, making sure that everything passing through your gut has got adequate fluid and hydration within it, so that your gut can process it properly. The other food that we eat an awful lot of now and take an awful lot of now is dairy. When I did my degree in nutrition, one of the first things I noticed within my course was this alarming statement and information I was learning about dairy, and how dairy in actual fact is not good for us, not typically. We have been brought up through our years in the last 30-40 years that dairy is great. Feed your kids dairy. Calcium. When I was growing up, I went to school and I had a carton of milk every day at nursery school. And what you're not told nowadays is that the calcium, yes, we all need calcium, and calcium is great, but in actual fact, when you load your body with calcium from lots of dairy milk, which is very high in calcium, your body and bones have to excrete calcium to process the calcium you put into your body. So it's almost a useless thing to do, because you're literally putting calcium into your body, and then your bones have to excrete their own calcium to take new calcium. So it doesn't actually make any sense. The next thing we do with dairy is that we pasteurize it. So the goodness that we had in that dairy, that milk, the milk we use for cheese mostly, although raw cheeses are a different thing. The pasteurization of that milk means that all the goodness that we thought we were getting out of that milk is completely killed off. So you're not getting it. We are so used to just pouring this white stuff down us all the time. Coffee, tea, on our cereals, in chocolate, everywhere, in packet sauces, in cheese sauces, in your cheese. It is everywhere. That the milk industry has gone through the roof. We can't get enough milk. It's absolutely insane. Let's look at milk and cows logically. Take a cow. It gives birth to a small calf. This small calf then is given milk from its mother. That mother produces exactly what that calf needs. Just as we do as humans, we make exactly what we need for our babies. This milk that a cow is producing for its baby calf is designed to take a small little calf, which is the size of a very big dog, and within a few months turn it into a big cow, a great big huge animal. So why do we think that milk is going to do us a favour and be compatible with us when we are physiologically completely different animals? And so what happens? We skim the milk to take the fat off. We semi-skim the milk to reduce the fat levels. We pasteurize it because otherwise we might get diseases from it because of the mass production of milk, and then we take all the nutrients out of it. And yet we are still pouring milk down us every day. Don't get me wrong, I like milk. I don't actually drink milk any longer, and I haven't done for many years because it literally didn't agree with me. Cheese, I love cheese. Oh, a cheese board, glass of red wine, heaven. But cheese I have very, very rarely. And alcohol is something with my age I've had to completely slow down on, because again it is a stimulant which is causing my gut to have problems. Let's look at hormones and our guts. Ever wondered why women typically suffer from IBS and gut problems more than men? Not to say that men don't, they do. But women typically suffer a lot more than men do. This is because of the hormones in our bodies, and the hormones literally affect everything. We take birth control, we are given estrogen, we take HRT, and although these things have been very, very useful and very, very good, and they've helped enormously with our lives, they are actually controlling our bodies so that our hormones are not quite sure where they are. That aside, we're not talking about that. Our hormone levels are the things which are directly linked to our gut. So when we get older, as soon as we start to go into perimenopause, late 30s, 40s, all of a sudden things start to go haywire in our bodies. Cortisol levels go up, we don't sleep, that increases more cortisol levels, and our guts are directly affected by this situation. And myself have been directly affected by the situation, and it's taken me a long time to do enough research to really do a deep dive into everything, to build a program for even myself to be able to manage the situation and to come out the other side feeling very good. I do this for my clients, and I've had to do it for myself. I understand this problem on a personal level. Living with IBS and gut problems is very, very stressful, and the more stress you have, the more gut problems you're going to have. So it's really important to try and control our stress and find a mechanism and a way of dealing with it. We need to prioritize our own health, our own mental health, to help in this situation. Let's look at sugar. Sugar is like putting petrol on the fire of our gut. Literally, sugar, if you can, needs to be eliminated out of your diet if you have IBS. And before you go, okay, well, I only drink sugar-free, this is also absolutely the no-no. Artificial sweeteners are a chemical which go into your gut and kill all your good bacteria. So you're not achieving anything whatsoever. It's time to get creative, make some really healthy protein balls out of nuts and cacao and dates, soaked dates, and find different recipes which are low in natural sugars, using only complex sugars like maple syrup, dates, coconut sugar. But processed white sugar is literally a poison to your system and a poison to your gut. Artificial sweeteners are a poison to your gut. So let's look at simple ways we can reduce the inflammation in our guts, and let's look at how we can calm the situation down. So it's time to look at changing a routine. When you get up in the morning, instead of heading to the kitchen, putting on the kettle and pouring yourself a coffee, it's time to look at hot water, lemon and ginger. Take a lemon, slice it, take some root ginger, slice it, pop it in a mug, pour hot water over it. A sprig of mint can actually help really, really well as well and make it taste nicer. And this can be your staple cup for the rest of the day. It's very, very simple. Just keep pouring hot water on all day long and sip it. The vitamin C, the acidity of the lemon hitting the stomach will turn alkaline. There's a saying in the nutrition world, if it is bitter to taste, it is sweet for your stomach. So please keep that in mind. So lemon and ginger. The ginger has got anti-inflammatory qualities and it will literally calm everything going through your gut. Added advantage is that it will also promote your immunity and help disinfect everything and get rid of germs. So you are literally giving yourself a tonic on a daily basis where you can sip hot water, lemon, ginger, some mint. Instead of drinking other drinks, you're hydrating everything, you're cleansing everything, you're calming the inflammation down, you're promoting healthy bacteria in your gut, getting rid of germs and viruses. There's literally nothing to lose by doing that. If you can do that, it is a very refreshing drink and I highly, highly recommend it. We're going to cut out sugar. We're going to look at different ways in which you can get your sweet treats in the afternoon. It's time to get creative and look at recipes. There are hundreds online. It's time to look at bread, to stop eating bread for now. Once your gut is healed, you can start to introduce bits of bread into it at a later date. But please be mindful of the quality of bread you're actually eating. If you can find a spelt sourdough, you're halfway there. We want to eliminate the processed modern breads, which is just bulk white flour, the normal wheat white flour. We need to try and be mindful not to take those. And to be honest with you, to actually have a direct effect on your gut to start with, we need to eliminate these for at least 2 months. Dairy is another one we need to eliminate. If you've got really bad IBS and gut problems, we need to stop eating these foods because your gut needs an environment to heal. Once the gut has healed, later down the line, 2 months, 2.5 months, we can start introducing little bits to your system of good quality foods. The idea is to pay more, get quality, eat less. And with that, your gut will be able to manage it once it's healed. Cut back on the quantity of meat you're eating. It's time to look at vegetable proteins as something that's going to heal your body. We need to look at pulses and beans, lentils, and other ways. Corn is a very good alternative as well. But please cut down on the amount of meat that you're eating. Eat really good quality meat and eat less of it. Your gut will thank you. Your health will thank you all the way. Fats is another thing. Please, if anybody out there is eating margarine, the normal margarine, which we're told it's good for you, please get rid of it. It might be polyunsaturated, but it is not good for you. They have taken a liquid fat, which is perfectly good in its natural state, and they have heated it to such extreme temperatures that they've killed off all the goodness, they've turned it rancid, and they've mixed it with other things to solidify it, to make it something you can spread. It is almost like taking plastic. Yes, it's polyunsaturated, it's got all the goodness in it from its raw state. That was before they processed it and put it into a container which you buy. So they haven't lied directly, but they are indirectly lying. So please eliminate all margarines. Go with butter, go with avocados, use coconut oil to fry and to cook with because it's very, very stable at high temperatures, and olive oil. That's all you need. Stress management. It's time to find a mechanism and a way to stop being stressed. 5 minutes of a morning, doing a very, very quick meditation, some yoga, and the same in the evening before bed. It's time to make sure that we lower our stress levels. Melatonin is good for sleeping. Take a melatonin supplement. Magnesium is really good to relax the muscles, ready for sleep. Up your B vitamins, that is going to help with your energy. It's time to really start being mindful of your health and getting the right things into your system. Exercise. Let's not forget exercise. Exercise is absolutely your best friend. Yes, I know it's tedious at times, but once you get through the first month and start to create a habit for yourself, strength training, please, strength training. Yes, cardiovascular is nice for you. Go for a nice walk. You may be a runner. Running's not too bad, but do it in moderation. But strength train. Let's get those muscles strong. By promoting muscle strength, you are absolutely strengthening your gut. You're strengthening your intestinal wall. You're really, really, really doing yourself an immense favour. Blood circulation, hydration, all of these things are promoting a healthy gut. You will be amazed at just how good regular exercise will help your gut. It stimulates because it has to work harder, it has to process the food better, it has to step up to the game, and it makes a point of doing it. So give it that environment and shove to get on with it. Lastly, get yourself a good probiotic. We need all the help we can get to start with. We simply have to have good bacteria in our systems to give us the edge to make sure our guts can work properly. Remember, your gut is intelligent. It is your immunity. It is the absolute main source of your health. Everything from your gut affects your body. It fights off disease. Everything that we are plagued with in today's society, your gut is your best friend and the one thing that is going to help and support you and fight off all these bad things. So let's recap. Hydration, food, no stimulants, exercise, probiotics, lemon, ginger and mint to sip all day long. Cut out additives, stimulants. Guys, it really is the saviour you need It's all in your own hands. You can go to the doctors, you can complain, you can moan, you can be sad, you can have no energy, you can struggle in life, you can say, oh God, but it's this, it's my gut. You can go through the embarrassing times, the flatulence, the smelliness, the terrible stools, the pain, the cramping, the bloating, but you literally have it in your own lives to be able to make a change. You yourself can make a significant change to your own health by looking after your gut. It takes change. You are worth it. Prioritize your health. It will keep you young and it will keep you fit and it will give you quality. Please, please, please consider all the things that we've talked about today. Thank you for being with us. Please like and subscribe if you found this information helpful. We are a new channel, as I've said before, bringing you lots and lots of tips and hacks in the future. I'm working on trying to get better at this vlogging thing and bringing you great content. See you next time.